Hello, Thomas.
What's up, Ryan?
Week 6, and we are moving right along.
Yeah, what a shock this week, right?
We want to thank our friends from Shock Top, Belgium White.
They were our sponsor last year, and we had trouble getting a sponsor this week because we've been having trouble getting in the win column. So we had to reach back out to Shock Top.
Thomas, let's look at the two 5-0 teams, the Bulldogs and the Washington Foreskins. Which team do you like better?
I think I like the Washington Foreskins better because of their running backs. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that the Bulldogs have a great team, but I think their Achilles heel is the running back position.
And I would say they would agree too, but let's find out. Here's Bradley Albert from the Bulldogs.
I think Bradley's the alpha dog.
Well, that would be my first question. We noticed that you have 4 coaches for the Bulldogs. 4. Who is the head president of that team?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know if we have a head. Maybe my dad, because he manages the lineup, but I think it's kind of like a joint group. There's nobody that really leads it.
And if you would have to say there would be one weak link in the group, who would it be?
Well, I don't really know if we have a weak link because everybody contributes mainly the same amount, and together we kind of make a great team.
Is there a lot of turmoil throughout the week on who to play and who not to play?
Not really. We figure it out pretty quickly, and I keep up the most with it, so I usually know, and there's not much really questions about it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
This young man has been coached very well how to speak to the camera. He's doing really well so far. He's not throwing anybody under the bus.
I tried to get him.
My question to you would be, who is your most disappointing player so far? If you could change it, who would you redraft?
It's got to be Najee Harris. He's been giving me about 5 points a week, and I'm very thankful that I'm 5-0 because he has done nothing for me at all.
I agree. I would say Justin Tucker, right? That's your kicker?
He got me 17 points this week.
You got to love that guy.
Yeah. That being said, who's your favorite pick?
Well, my favorite pick is probably Cooper Kupp. Very solid receiver. He's gotten me, I think, 20 every week so far. But yeah, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, Patrick Mahomes, and I mean they all kind of work together and just lead my team to the victory.
Let's break into some games, Thomas.
All right. So we're going to start off with the first game of the week. It is Thug Nasty versus the Buffalo Tots. Thug Nasty leads this series 4-2 all time. Current projections are 117-101 in favor of Thug Nasty. And after last week's very disappointing outcome, I think Thug Nasty continues that trend, and they beat the Tots by 27 points.
Actually, I have a bit of an upset here. I got to go with the Buffalo Tots by 3.
Okay.
3 points. I say close game.
Did you not pick yourself again?
I did not pick myself because you know how it is in real life with a rivalry game. Sometimes they make or break your season. I feel like the Tots may go in a downward spiral.
That was a tough one for the Tots.
He's been thinking about it all day.
My first game is the 2-3 White Lightning Black Hammers versus the 3-2 Fear the Turtles. And I thought Fear was going to come off and beat the Foreskins last week. It didn't happen. Very close game. Could have went either way. Anyway, these teams have played each other 8 times, and Fear the Turtle leads the series 5-3. I'm going to go with White Lightning Black Hammer here with the upset to win this by 2.
My next game here is Child's Play, who's on a 3-game slide currently, versus the Slam Bammers. And the series is 4-2 in favor of Child's Play. The current projection is 85-83. It's a very low scoring projection. But I think Child's Play comes through this week. and I think he wins by 15.
I gotta say Child's Play also because I don't think Jonathan Taylor's gonna have the greatest bounce back week. So I'm gonna say Child's Play by 5.
Thomas, the Slam Bammers win a game this year?
I think that they could be a team to potentially maybe win 1, 2. I think it just goes back to in the draft for the teams that really love those receivers. When you don't hit on those receivers and you miss on your running backs, it's going to be a long season.
Yeah, and that is our only 0-5 team currently this year so far at this point.
I know one team that was 0.4 of a point from joining him, but he didn't quite make it. He's 1-4.
Well, all we need is a little luck. My second game is the 1-4 Red Zone Warriors versus the 2-3 Prime Times. The series is tied between the teams at 1 apiece. Both of these teams are struggling. I would say that this could go either way, but I am going to take the Red Zone Warriors to win this by 33.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and actually say the prime time. I feel Mark Andrews will have a big week and say prime time wins by 7.
What was I gonna? You want to go to the next game?
Or we can skip to a question.
Go ahead.
So, being 5-0, and I know you've probably looked the schedule over, where do you think is your biggest competition at this year? At what stage of the season?
I don't really know. It's really every week is a big competition because I mean if Taysom Hill doesn't get me like 40 points this week, it's getting to like a closer game, and it could be any week. You know, never really know when a good guy's gonna have a bad game. So it could be any game that we get blown out.
Understandable, but there's got to be a team that kind of scares you a little bit.
I don't really
Like,
know.
man, when I play this team, I'm scared of them.
I don't know. Maybe I've always been nervous about Funny Guy. You know, I know he's not doing great, but it's not bad. It's a pretty good team. It's just the running backs haven't been doing the greatest.
God.
I think it's more of the assholeness of the owner, not so much the team.
All right, did you have a question?
Yeah, who's that team that you kind of, when you see them on your schedule, you kind of like get up like, I want to beat that guy or that team just because either you're related or you know them real well or you've had some close battles?
Well, it's got to be Al that I've already played. You know, I've never been in the same division as Al. I don't even think I've been on the same side for what I remember. So I remember we had a pretty good game, and I really wanted to win, and I came out with the victory.
Okay.
All right, by game three, I'll start it off.
Let's hit it.
This is my shock top game of the week. The 5-0 Washington Foreskins versus the 1-4 Slap 'em to Sleep. And Tom, yet another year for Slap 'em to Sleep.
Yeah, I'm disappointing.
So I think this really isn't a game. It probably even shouldn't even be played because of the mismatch so far apart. You got a 5-0 team playing a guy that sits people that are hurt, and pay attention, guy. I don't even want to talk about it anymore, Thomas. Foreskins wins this by 50.
My next game is Funny Guy versus Cooley. And Cooley, Funny Guy, yes, I'm right. Cooley is winning this series 2-0. The current projections are 95 to 103. And for Cooley, that scares me because Steve's projected to lose, and God knows he can win by 1/10 of a point. With that being said, I don't have anything nice to say to his team today, so I am projecting Cooley to win by 15, and I hope it happens.
I'm gonna have to say Cooley also wins by about 10. He just has a really solid team this year.
All right, and my final game of the week is the 3-2 Refuse to Lose and the 3-2 Hawk Stars. Hawk Stars coming off high score of the week.
Reds?
And this is going to be a close one, probably the closest game on the AFC side. Refuse to Lose wins this by 3.
My last game here is the Bulldogs versus Bunk. Bunkin' ain't easy. And I had to look at this. The projections are 113 to 89 currently, which is a big landslide as far as points go. I mean, that's what, a 24-point difference in the projections. With that being said, there's got to be a loss somewhere on that schedule. And I think Bulldogs pulls an upset by 5. Or excuse me, Bunkin pulls the upset by 5.
Looking at that team that you said was a big difference, was the lineup set or was, because buys start this week?
I think Bunkin does not have a tight end in currently, and I did look. He has Dallas Schultz, which would be ironic because you guys had Schultz and dropped him. So if Bunkin plays Schultz and he has a big game, that would be ironic. And he has Christian McCaffrey on the bench from last week. I think he could possibly put McCaffrey in over Robinson. McCaffrey plays the Rams. It's kind of iffy. And Robinson plays the Colts. So I don't know which way it goes. But I think that it's got to go. You got to have a bad week. So I'm going Bunkin with an upset barely.
All right.
Well,
You want to comment on that game?
No, I feel like Bunkin plays Christian McCaffrey, and Christian McCaffrey doesn't do the greatest against Aaron Donald and the Rams, because that's a strong defense. They're pretty good against the run. So I think I'm going to go Bulldogs here by about 7, 8.
It's going to be a good game.
All right, so my final question is, what percentage do you think? I mean, you're about 3 games from the playoffs, which should be pretty easy to do. Though we did see a team, Dean and them.
Yep. Jason Dean and one of his many partners.
Yes. Anyway, what are the percentages do you think your team has to not only make the playoffs but advance and win this year?
Are you talking about, like, the championship?
Yeah.
I mean, I think making the playoffs is about 80% because we're only 3 games away. We've already won 5. But, winning the championship, it's much different. You never really know. Guys get hurt, and it could be a toss-up. So I don't really have a percentage for that because anybody can win it any year.
Yeah. All right.
How about you? What do you give him percentage as?
So only because of the horrible running backs situation, and I say horrible, but when I was going to draft, I was actually debating on taking Harris with the number 3 overall pick, thinking that he was going to have that kind of a year. I'm glad I didn't, but I mean, I can see why you went the route that you did, but with the struggling running backs, I think it takes running backs to win the whole thing. That being said, a lot of luck is needed as well. So I would give you probably about a 75% chance of winning the Super Bowl.
For me, as a Steelers fan, as well as these guys, I did not want Harris, and I was hoping it didn't come down to me having to make that choice because he is a solid running back. To me, he has the talent. It's the offensive line that is the problem. So I wouldn't have taken him there. I was kind of going Chubb and Mixon for my first round. I give you a 90% chance of making the playoffs with your record. Like Ryan said, you got to win 2 or 3 more games and you're in. To actually win the whole thing, I mean, you got to give you a shot. So I'll give you a 25% chance because there's 4 teams. Because then, like you said, anybody can win it.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Good show today.
yeah, man.
Anything else?
I'm good.
We want to thank our friends once again from Shop Top Belgium White. And we're looking for a sponsorship for next week's show. The only other thing that I have is we haven't started counting the ad drops yet, and I will update that list after week 7. There shouldn't be anybody anywhere close to that 14, but I'll give everybody a heads up after week number 7. You can always look in case you forget by going to the website and clicking on transaction and then your team name, and it'll show you all your transactions. That's all I have. Week 5, we're out of here.
See you.